Welcome to IELTS Self-Peep MasterPrep, your trusted source for real exam-based practice tests. Every test you see here is inspired by current exam trends, and each one comes with full model solutions to help you master every section. Here's our daily schedule. IELTS tests drop every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and CLP tests every evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. No matter which exam you're preparing for, we've got you covered every single day. Are you ready for today's test? Give it your best shot and comment your score. The top 5 scorers will be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter and awards. Want your name included? Let's begin.
Section 1. You will hear a woman inquiring about a community garden membership. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 10.
Good morning, Briarwood Community Garden. How can I help you?
Oh, hello there. I'm ringing because I'd quite like to find out about joining the garden. I've just moved to the area, you see.
Lovely, welcome to the neighborhood. I'd be happy to tell you all about it. Can I start by taking your name?
Yes, of course. It's Katrina Holwell. That's Holwell.
Holwell, got it. And do you have a contact number we could reach you on?
Sure, my mobile is 07954 281630.
Right, 07954 281630. Brilliant. And whereabouts are you living now?
I'm at 43, Pemberton Lane. It's just off the high street, actually.
Oh yes, I know it well. Lovely street. So, let me tell you a bit about how things work here. We offer 3 types of membership. There's the individual, the family, and the, what do we call it, the weekend pass, which is quite popular with people who work full-time.
Right. I think the family one would suit us best, actually. My husband and our daughter would probably want to come along too.
That's a great choice. The family membership is £45 per year, and that covers up to 4 people in the same household.
Oh, that's quite reasonable. And what exactly does that include?
Well, each family gets their own raised bed. It's about 3 meters by 2, and you also get access to all the shared tools. We've got a proper tool shed with everything from spades to wheelbarrows. The only thing we do ask members to bring themselves is gloves, just for hygiene reasons.
That makes sense. And when is the garden actually open?
We're open every day from 8 in the morning until, well, it depends on the season, but at the moment it's until 7:30 in the evening. During winter months it closes a bit earlier, around 5.
7:30, that's good. I could pop down after work then. Now, I should mention, I'm not terribly experienced. I've grown a few herbs on my windowsill, but that's about it, to be honest.
Oh, don't worry about that at all. We actually run workshops for beginners. The next one is on the 24th of May, and it covers soil preparation and composting. It's led by our head gardener, Douglas Fenton.
Oh, that sounds ideal. Douglas Fenton, you said?
That's right. He's been with us for about 12 years now. Wonderful chapter. He also does a session on pest control later in June, if you're interested.
Definitely. I'll make a note of that. And is there a waiting list at the moment, or could I start fairly soon?
No waiting list at the moment, actually. We had one last year, but a few plots have freed up recently. If you'd like, you could come in on Saturday to have a look around and fill in the paperwork.
Saturday works perfectly. What time should I come?
Let's say 10:15. I'll be in the office from about 9, so that gives me time to get things ready for you.
Lovely, 10:15 on Saturday. And is there anything I need to bring along?
Just some photo ID, a driving license or passport, either is fine, and we'll need payment on the day. We accept cash or bank transfer, but I'm afraid we can't do credit cards at the moment.
Bank transfer would be easiest for me. Right, I think that covers everything. Thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome, Katrina. We'll see you on Saturday then. Take care.
Thanks, bye.
That is the end of section 1. You now have some time to check your answers to section 1. Section 2. You will hear a zoo guide explaining the layout and animal exhibits. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Briarwood Zoo. My name is Helen, and I'll be your guide today. Before we set off, let me give you an overview of the zoo's layout and some highlights you won't want to miss. Now, the zoo was originally founded in 1952 as a small wildlife sanctuary, but it was officially reopened as a full public zoo in 1978. Since then, it's grown considerably. We currently have over 300 species housed across 12 themed zones. Let's start with our most popular attraction, the African Savanna Zone. This is located directly ahead of us, just past the main fountain. You'll find our giraffes, zebras, and of course, the lions. The lion enclosure was redesigned last year, and the key change was that we tripled the amount of open grassland available to them, which has really improved their well-being. Moving clockwise from there, you'll reach the tropical rainforest house. This is an indoor exhibit, so it's perfect if the weather turns. Inside, the temperature is kept at a constant 28 degrees Celsius. The star residents here are our 2 Sumatran orangutans, who arrived from a breeding program in Singapore. Next to the Rainforest House, you'll notice the new Reptile Discovery Center. This was funded entirely through public donations, which is something we're very proud of. It features over 40 species of reptiles and amphibians, including a pair of Komodo dragons, the only ones in this region. Now, if you continue along the path, you'll come to the Penguin Cove. We have 3 species of penguin here: Humboldt, Rockhopper, and king penguins. Feeding time is at 2:30 in the afternoon, and that's definitely worth watching. The keepers actually allow the penguins to choose which fish they'd like, so each feeding session is quite entertaining. Beyond the penguins is our brand new nocturnal wildlife wing. This only opened in March this year, making it our newest exhibit. It uses special red lighting so you can observe animals like bats, owls, and sugar gliders without disturbing their natural behavior. Right, a few practical points before we go. The main gift shop is located beside the East Gate. It's currently being renovated, so only the ground floor is accessible at the moment. The upper floor should reopen by the end of June. The family picnic area is just behind the Penguin Cove. It was recently expanded and now includes a covered shelter, so you can eat there regardless of the weather. Our on-site restaurant, the Treetop Cafe, is next to the Tropical Rainforest House. It serves hot meals until 3 o'clock, though snacks and drinks are available all day. For anyone with young children, the playground is situated between the gift shop and the Reptile Discovery Center. It was built using recycled materials, which ties in with our conservation message. And finally, the first aid station is beside the main entrance. It's staffed by qualified nurses throughout opening hours. Right then, shall we begin the tour?
That is the end of Section 2. You now have some time to check your answers to Section 2. Section 3. You will hear a student and academic advisor discussing course choices and career paths. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 30.
Thanks for meeting us, Dr. Evans. Sarah and I wanted to discuss our third-year module selections and how they might affect our career options after graduation.
Of course, Tom. Let's start with you. Have you narrowed down what you'd like to specialize in?
Well, I was originally leaning towards marketing, but after speaking with some graduates, I've decided I'd rather focus on financial management. The job prospects seem much stronger.
That's a sensible shift. Financial management does open up a wide range of roles. What about you, Sarah?
I'm still interested in human resources, but I'm wondering whether I should also take the organizational psychology module to complement it.
I'd actually recommend that combination. Employers increasingly value candidates who understand the psychological side of managing people. Now, regarding the dissertation, Tom, have you settled on a topic?
I want to look at how small businesses manage cash flow during economic downturns. I started the literature review last month, but it took longer than planned. There's just so much material out there.
That's a common issue. Just make sure you set clear boundaries for your reading. Sarah, what about your dissertation?
I'm exploring employee retention strategies in the tech sector. I've done some initial reading, but I think the methodology section needs more research before I can finalize my approach. I'm still deciding between interviews and surveys.
Both have merits. Interviews give you depth, but surveys let you gather broader data. Now, let's talk about the work placement module. Tom, how did yours go?
Honestly, it was the most challenging part of the entire year. Balancing the placement with coursework was incredibly demanding, but I learned a huge amount about real-world finance.
And Sarah, you completed yours at that recruitment firm, didn't you?
Yes, and it was actually better than expected. I thought I'd just be filing paperwork, but they gave me real responsibility. I even sat in on candidate interviews.
Excellent. Now, looking ahead to careers, have either of you considered postgraduate study?
I have, but I think I'd prefer to gain professional experience first and then perhaps return for a master's degree later on, maybe after 2 or 3 years of working.
I'm the opposite. I'd like to go straight into a master's program in organizational behavior. I feel the extra qualification will give me an edge in a competitive job market.
Both are valid approaches. Tom, for someone going into finance, professional certifications like the ACCA can be just as valuable as a master's. You could pursue those while working.
That's exactly what I was thinking. My placement supervisor mentioned the same thing.
Good. And Sarah, if you do a master's, I'd suggest applying to programs that include a professional placement component. It makes a real difference when competing for graduate roles.
That's helpful advice. One more thing, do you think the statistics module is essential? I've heard it's very theory-heavy.
For your field, absolutely. Data analysis skills are becoming non-negotiable in HR. The module is demanding, but employers specifically look for those competencies.
I'm taking it too. A few second-year students told me the group project in that module needs a different approach from other coursework. Apparently you really have to coordinate closely with your team from the very start.
That's good advice. Right, I think we've covered a lot today. Shall we schedule a follow-up in 3 weeks to review your final module choices?
That would be great. Thanks, Dr. Evans.
Yes, thank you. This has been really helpful.
That is the end of Section 3. You now have some time to check your answers to Section 3. Section 4. You will hear university lecture on how ocean currents regulate the Earth's climate. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. Today I want to explore something that is often overlooked in popular discussions of climate, the role of ocean currents in regulating the Earth's temperature. While most people are familiar with the atmosphere's influence on weather, it is actually the oceans that serve as the planet's primary thermostat. Without the constant movement of seawater across the globe, our climate would be radically different and, frankly, far less hospitable to life. So let's begin with the basics of what drives ocean currents in the first place. Surface currents, the ones you've probably heard of, are generated primarily by wind. Prevailing winds push against the top layer of the ocean, setting vast sheets of water into motion. However, below the surface, there is an entirely different system at work, what oceanographers call thermohaline circulation. This deeper circulation is driven not by wind but by differences in the density of seawater, which is itself determined by 2 factors: temperature and salinity. In polar regions, as seawater freezes, the surrounding water becomes saltier and therefore denser. This dense, cold water sinks to the ocean floor and begins a slow migration toward the equator, forming what we can think of as a massive conveyor belt that loops through every major ocean basin. Now, why does this matter for climate? The answer lies in the sheer capacity of water to absorb and transport heat. The ocean absorbs roughly 90% of the excess heat generated by the greenhouse effect. Warm surface currents, such as the Gulf Stream, carry enormous quantities of tropical heat northward toward Europe. This is precisely why countries like the United Kingdom enjoy relatively mild winters despite sitting at the same latitude as parts of Canada, where temperatures are far more extreme. When these warm currents reach higher latitudes, they release that stored heat into the atmosphere through a process called evaporation, which in turn influences regional precipitation patterns. In effect, ocean currents act as a redistribution mechanism, transferring energy from the equator to the poles and preventing either zone from reaching uninhabitable extremes. There is, however, growing concern about the stability of this system. Research published over the last decade indicates that the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, often abbreviated as AMOC, has weakened by approximately 15% since the mid-20th century. The primary cause appears to be the accelerated melting of glacier in Greenland. As fresh water pours into the North Atlantic, it dilutes the salinity of the surrounding seawater, making it less dense and therefore less likely to sink. If this downwelling process slows significantly, the entire conveyor belt could be disrupted, with potentially severe consequences for weather patterns across the Northern Hemisphere. And these consequences are not merely theoretical. Modeling studies suggest that a substantial slowdown of the AMOC could trigger a paradoxical cooling of northwestern Europe by as much as 5 degrees Celsius, even as global average temperatures continue to rise. Additionally, disruption of ocean circulation is expected to intensify monsoon variability in parts of Asia and Africa, threatening agricultural output in regions that depend on predictable seasonal rainfall. Perhaps most alarmingly, a weakened circulation would reduce the ocean's ability to act as a carbon sink. Currently, the deep ocean absorbs and stores vast amounts of carbon dioxide, but if vertical mixing between surface and deep water diminishes, more of that carbon would remain in the atmosphere, accelerating the very warming that triggered the disruption in the first place, a classic feedback loop. So in summary, ocean currents are not a peripheral feature of the climate system, they are absolutely central to it. Understanding and monitoring these currents must remain a priority if we are to anticipate the full scope of climate change. Thank you.
That is the end of Section 4. You now have some time to check your answers to Section 4. That is the end of the IELTS Listening Test. You now have some time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.
Before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with other test takers, and subscribe so you never miss your daily IELTS and CELPEP tests. Drop your score in the comments. Your name could be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep leveling up with MasterPrep.